The Book of Boba Fett took us back to the sands of Tatooine, as our favorite bounty hunter made a triumphant return from the depths of the Sarlacc pit. And now, just in time for Star Wars Day, we have our first look at how it all came together. Disney Gallery shows how the Book of Boba Fett was made. For this year's Star Wars Day, Disney decided to treat us to some exclusive behind-the-scenes footage for the Book of Boba Fett. Released as part of the Disney Gallery, the entire documentary is now available to watch on Disney+. And if you've watched the show, you know that there's a lot of things going on in it, especially in the final few episodes. So we have some pretty wholesome and exciting footage for all of those moments as well. Other than behind-the-scenes footage though, we've also got some pretty interesting interviews from all the cast members, including Temuera Morrison, Ming-na Wen, and Rosario Dawson. Oh, and of course, the series creator, Jon Favreau, also sits down to give his insights into the process. What did he say? Well, according to him, the show was not about living with the weight of the past. Yes, it starts off with the whole Sarlacc pit incident and Boba Fett getting trapped there, but that's not the point of the show. For Favreau, the Book of Boba Fett had to tell a story that first and foremost went forward, and along the way, they could answer some of the burning questions and fill in the rest of the blanks. He also gave kudos to Temuera Morrison for being an incredible actor, without whom this series obviously wasn't possible. And we get to see some of that talent on screen as well, with the Boba Fett actor swinging his iconic staff around and training for the show's fight scenes. Fennec had a big role in the Book of Boba Fett. You can't really run a crime syndicate without a sidekick, and in the show, Fennec was the right-hand person who provided a different perspective for our bounty hunter. But according to the showrunners, she was so much more than that. Not only was she instrumental in grounding the character of Boba Fett, but also key to his development as a character. However, on top of all these things, she's just a straight-up badass. And according to Ming-na Wen, who's the actor playing Fennec, it's just as fun as it looks. She goes into detail about how she's always been a massive Star Wars fan, so when this opportunity popped up, she really couldn't say no. And to be fair to her, if we got the chance to ride a bantha around Tatooine, we wouldn't be able to resist either. Rosario Dawson reflects on her meeting with Mark Hamill. Now, the show was called The Book of Boba Fett, but most people would say that most of the show was actually not about the bounty hunter. In reality, it was more of a continuation of the Jedi story that started in The Mandalorian. So, in the final few episodes of the show, we got to see both Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker meet up. And in hindsight, that was actually the defining moment of the show, because Ahsoka was trained by Luke's father, so they both share that Vader connection, which not a lot of people do in the sequels. But of course, when you get to see Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker again, it's always going to be a fanboy moment for everyone, including the rest of the cast. And that's exactly what Rosario Dawson's reaction was as well. In the clip, she talks about how she almost fainted from the excitement that day. And in the documentary, that joy is fully on display as we see the Ahsoka actor being all giddy as Mark Hamill gets dressed in his Jedi robes in the background. Mark Hamill will always be Luke Skywalker. And speaking of Mark Hamill, how good was he in the show? Seriously, the guy is 70 but still continues to knock it out of the park, even when he has to play his younger self. Now, obviously, he didn't just put on a bunch of Jedi robes and just shoot his scenes. First, he had to get rid of his Jedi Master beard for that cleaner look. Oh, and he also had a double who looked like his younger version. But of course, to make him truly look young, you have to use some CGI as well. So, much like his appearance in The Mandalorian, Hamill's role here also relied heavily on CGI to make him look younger. Now, it may not be the best looking version of the Jedi, but as long as it's good enough, then we really don't have a problem with it. Yes, Disney could have just simply hired a younger actor like Sebastian Stan to play Luke Skywalker, but it's honestly amazing that they're still willing to put in the work to keep the veteran actor's legacy intact. Will Luke Skywalker return for the Ahsoka series? Now, Mark Hamill isn't getting any younger, and eventually Disney will have to replace him. But for now, he's happy with the role and is grateful that the company even considers him for the role in the first place. After all, it's a lot of work to make him look 40 years younger than he is. With that said, the Book of Boba Fett may not actually be the last time we see Luke Skywalker in this era. In fact, the spin-off series, Ahsoka, has already begun shooting under the watch of Dave Filoni. And according to the rumors, that series is set around the events of The Mandalorian and Boba Fett as well. So there's every possibility that we could see Luke teaming up with Ahsoka in the upcoming series, and obviously that also means some more Mark Hamill in action with his green lightsaber. Other news: Stranger Things poster teases new monsters. The wait is almost over. Season 4 of Stranger Things is less than a month away, and in anticipation of the show's return, we're getting a ton of new trailers and posters. For instance, just a couple weeks ago, we got our first look at the cast, including Eleven, Joyce, and the returning conspiracy theorist Murray. On top of that, we also got an idea of what the characters would be dealing with in Season 4, as each individual poster had its own theme that pointed towards their struggles. However, this time around, we've got a big Dungeons & Dragons-like poster with all of the cast members in one shot. That's not all, though, as as the poster shows off some new types of monsters, like the humanoid wizard Vecna, who's covered in roots and vines and just some super fleshy stuff. Supernatural spin-off gets greenlit at the CW. Supernatural, despite its flaws, remains one of the best Monsters of the Week shows out there. The way it delved into the connection between our world, demons, and a lot of other biblical stuff was truly spectacular. After 15 long seasons, though, it had come to an end. But if you were sad about not being able to watch the Winchester boys wreck some demons anymore, then we've got some good news for you. The CW has just greenlit an entire season of the Supernatural prequel show. Called The Winchesters, the show will bring back Jensen Ackles, Dean Winchester, as its narrator. However, the story of the show actually revolves around how the boys' father, John, met his wife, Mary, and how they managed to save the entire world before their sons took the torch. Hayden Christensen is loving his Star Wars return. These days, you can't really talk about Star Wars without mentioning the upcoming Disney Plus series, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And with less than a month to go until its super hyped premiere, the press tour for the cast has also kicked into top gear. So, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Deborah Chow, and Moses Ingram have been on the move, speaking about their experience in interviews. Now, the show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi, as it follows the story of the Jedi Master after the events of Episode 3. But perhaps the most exciting thing about the show is the fact that Hayden Christensen is putting on the Darth Vader suit again. Of course, this is the first time that the actor has starred in anything Star Wars since Revenge of the Sith, so it's been a very long time. So coming back to the role after so many years must have been a pretty surreal experience, right? Well, according to him, it was actually more of a feeling of joy. He said that it all came back to him pretty quickly, and when he read the script, he couldn't refuse the opportunity to put on the iconic mask again. Speaking of the iconic mask, that Vader suit hasn't gotten any lighter over the years. Talking about becoming Darth Vader again, Christensen said that the big black suit is still as much of a challenge to work with as it was back in the day. Oh, and forget about P-breaks if you've got that thing on. But all that being said, we're super excited to see Obi-Wan and Darth Vader come face to face once again. And thankfully, we don't have to wait much longer for it. Well, that's a wrap for this video. Do you want to see a full-blown lightsaber duel between Vader and Obi-Wan in the upcoming show? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one.